Hello and welcome to my channel, Sam Hikes the World. Today I am covering one of America's most iconic hikes, Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. I've actually hiked Angel's Landing 2 times, once in 2022 with my wife Christy, and again in 2026 with my son Tony. Today I just want to talk a little bit about, first of all, you have to get a permit. You can't just walk into Zion and hike Angel's Landing. The rules about how you get a permit are online. You can do it months in advance, and if you get one, great. They also have a permit drop every night, so there's a second opportunity. I've been successful both ways, and the 2 times I went, but both times did ultimately get a permit. They do check the permits. There's rangers there. They're not letting you on the mountain if you don't get a permit. They only cost like $6. The issue is actually winning the lottery to get one. The hike itself, you got to take the shuttle in. You have a set time. Your permit allows you to hike either, I think, starting from 9 to 12 or starting from, I don't know, 12 to 3 or something like that. Both times I went, we had a morning permit. Take the shuttle down to get off and start walking. And the beginning of the hike, the first 2 miles of the hike, it's just like any other hike. I mean, you're going uphill. You hike ultimately up Walters Wiggles, which is a series of switchbacks, paved switchbacks, very steep, but nothing that if you're a hiker you can't do or it'd be that big of a deal to you. And you work your way up ultimately to the famous chain section of Angel's Landing. The last chain section, the stuff when people think about Angel's Landing, this is the hike, is only like a half mile, but you're walking out on a fin. And the chains kind of both add safety and add an intimidation factor. I feel like, I'll be honest, I actually said this on the hike. I've hiked lots of hikes that I think are as dangerous, or at least sections of it were as dangerous as Angel's Landing, but I didn't have any chains and they didn't have all the iconic stuff around them that Angel's Landing had, and I just didn't think about it that much. I just hiked it. That being said, I held on to the chains when I was up there. I'm not a loosey-goosey, confident in my footing kind of person. So I definitely used the chains and took advantage of the safety measures that were there. First time I went, my wife actually, when we got to the chain section, said, I'm not going. I'm going to stay right here. I don't like the looks of it. She's not a big fan of heights, and so I didn't try to talk her into it. That's fine. I mean, so I went up myself. Got to the top, enjoyed it, and then as I was on my way back down, almost back to where I left her, here she came, coming up. That's why I say I've actually done it 3 times. I went back to the top with her that first time, and we went up again, and she's always been glad she really did it. So, I mean, she is nervous about heights. She's not completely freaked out about heights. There are people that shouldn't do this hike or any hike that puts you in a really bad heights position. She's not at that level, but she really enjoyed doing it, and I think had a really good time. The views are incredible. There are times when your views are 360, both on top and on your way up. There's places to stop and look around, and just really enjoy it. I think sometimes you enjoy it coming down more than going up because you know what you're getting into. Although I actually think hiking down is a little harder than hiking up. It's easier to lean forward into the mountain and go up than it is to kind of hike down with the mountain moving away from you. But it was great. Went again with my son in May of 2026. He's also a little nervous about heights. By the way, I'm a little nervous about heights too. I'm not a guy hanging off the rafters, want to be a window washer on skyscrapers or anything like that. But I've done a lot more hiking, I think. But he was great. We hiked our way on up there. Got to the top. You'll see a lot of videos on Instagram these days of people with those 360 cameras, and it makes it look terrifying hiking up Angel's Landing. In reality, it does not look like that. That sense that you're walking on this fin that's 2 feet wide or 3 feet wide and you could fall off either side at any time, never had that experience, never felt that way. The videos of Angel's Landing absolutely make it look scarier than it really is. It's just not that scary. People do die on Angel's Landing. They don't die staying on the trail and holding on to the chains. Given what I've seen on top of Angel's Landing, the 3 times I've been up there, I'm amazed only 1 person dies every couple years, because it's a clown show on top to me. There are a lot of people that have a lot more confidence in their footing than me. They're standing right out on the edge. They're standing up on spires. They're bouncing on one leg. They're taking selfies. I'm afraid I'm going to watch somebody fall off the top when I get up there. I have zero fear I'm going to fall off the top because I got enough sense to stay closer to the middle. But, still, one person every couple years does die. Somebody died this spring. He was off trail, according to people on top, and being out of control. This is what we heard from people in town when we were out there, because it only happened a week or two before we went out. I don't think anybody's ever fallen off Angel's Landing if they stayed on trail and just really did what you're supposed to do when you're hiking it. It can get a little intimidating. It is single file and you got to wait for others coming down or going up. But people don't just blow by each other at 100 miles an hour. I mean, somebody steps to the side and gets in a comfortable spot with their footing and the other people come by. Sometimes you got a chain of 10 people come in one direction and then you wait and you go on the direction you're going. So, everybody's pretty nice. Hikers always seem to be pretty nice to me. I never really go out on a hike and I'm like, everybody here's a jerk. I just don't, that doesn't happen. Everybody seems pretty nice, or 99, not everybody's not anything, but 99% of people seem pretty great. So, terrific hike, terrific views. It's iconic for a reason. It's not particularly difficult from a hiking standpoint. I think it's only like 1,500 feet, 1,600 feet of total elevation gain. I think it's 2.5 miles maybe from the shuttle spot to the top. The chains make it special. They do limit the crowds with the permits. I think it's something like 800 people per permit time. So you're still dealing with hundreds of people on the mountain, but you're not dealing with thousands and thousands of people. It's got great photo ops, and also you get to say that you hiked Angel's Landing. And I know that that's not the reason to do something in the specific iconic reason to take yourself up there, but hey, I like doing things. I like saying I've done things. I like knowing in my heart that I've done things. And I've been on a lot of great hikes that aren't really popular, and I appreciate every one of them. I've been on a lot of great hikes that are mega popular, and I appreciate those too. In fact, I was saying the other day to my parents on the phone that I don't really think of anything I've ever done that I'm like, oh, well, that was not as good as it was hyped up to be, or that one. I like everything I go do. And so I'm not the guy to sit here and give hikes stars. I assign them all 4 and 5 stars. I assign most novels I read 4 and 5 stars. I'm a guy that likes doing things and likes getting them done. But Angel's Landing is worth it. If you're going to Zion and you're not really terrified of heights, even if they make you nervous, you should hike Angel's Landing. You should get a permit. It is one of the 2 iconic hikes in the park, the other being the Narrows, which I did a video on the other day. Well worth your time, well worth a visit, and it's just a great park. Zion's a great park, at least a 2-day park, with you build 1 day around Angel's Landing and 1 around the Narrows, and just really something special to see, and I'm glad I experienced it. I'm glad I was able to take my son back and let him experience it as well. So I've got a few more videos coming up on Zion in the next few days. Some hikes in Kolob Canyon, which doesn't get a lot of hype. That's a place you can do some great hikes, and there's hardly anybody there, but it's still part of Zion National Park. The Emerald Pools I'll be putting up here shortly too. So check back for more videos, and then I've got hundreds more on the way. I've done an awful lot of hikes over the last 10 years, and I really just want to share a lot of those with you. So appreciate you stopping by. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and have a great day. Thank you. Just walk on down there, you'll be fine. I'm gonna video you falling off a cliff.